I decided to make this recording today because I feel it is very necessary that you need to hear this message urgently. There seems to be something on the brew in South Africa, and I feel that we are being lied to by the government. If this is true, I think that we are in huge danger right now, and we need to prepare for this danger as much and as soon as possible. As we all know, the KZN province, as well as the Johannesburg CBD, was ransacked a week ago or so. There have been an increasing number of reports of specific stores being targeted for specific products. I've even heard unconfirmed reports of certain stores being looted the night before the masses started looting them, and then being left open for the masses. If any of these reports are true, we have a huge and urgent problem on our hands. There are reports that these targeted stores were in fact targeted for things like camping equipment, hardware, and other related things. Food-wise, dry ingredients were primarily targeted, as well as canned goods. These are things that are used to equip an army, people. Then, the cherry on the cake is the 1.5 million rounds of ammunition that was stolen out of one container while the looting was taking place. I would like to discuss this one significant event in more detail. Over the last 10 years or so, between the police and the Defence Force, they have managed to lose, and I use the words lose very loosely here, around 9 million rounds of ammunition. This is what has been reported anyway. It could be a lot higher. They have also very conveniently lost thousands of firearms, which no doubt sit in the hands of criminals now. Here we have 1.5 million rounds of ammunition landing on the streets in one single night. So what is so significant about the theft of this ammunition, you might be asking? This is where things start to get very interesting, to say the least. Firstly, the container was never supposed to be shipped to Durban at all. It was destined to land at Cape Town Harbour. Somehow, for some reason, the container was not offloaded in Cape Town but only in Durban. Coincidence? Secondly, the container was inspected by the authorities in Durban but not cleared as far as I know. Instead, it was put into storage in that storage yard without any form of guard at all. Coincidence? Thirdly, I could be wrong, but this one container, which was stacked on top of two other containers, in other words, it was 3 containers high, was the only container broken into. Coincidence? So what does this all mean? Well, we can only speculate since nothing can be proven yet, but I think logic is telling us a very clear story here. There were clear indications from people like Jacob Zuma's children, and specifically his son Duduzane, who, not in as many words, but clearly told the public that they were going to take over, were going to reset the economy, which means nothing else but to wreck it first before somehow rebuilding it. What a joke. They don't even have the ability to build a RDP house, never mind the ability to rebuild a wrecked country and its economy. Here is my take on the situation at the moment. Please note that this is just speculation or an educated guess on my part, but once you hear it, I think you might share my opinion. It is my opinion that we are on the brink of a coup d'etat taking place in South Africa any day now. Let's look at the evidence. Firstly, no revolution or attempt at a coup d'etat can take place without weapons and ammunition. It is common knowledge that the police do not have enough ammunition to even train their own members to be competent in using the firearms they were issued with. I suspect that the military is in the same position. This container of ammunition was diverted to Durban for one reason and one reason only. It was to supply the ammunition for this coming revolution or coup d'etat. I have one very compelling question to ask regarding this container. How is it possible for this container to have been diverted from Cape Town to Durban, stored where it was without guards, and looted very conveniently while the masses were looting the shopping centres, without whoever did it knowing that the riots and looting would take place on that specific day? In my opinion, whoever had the container diverted to Durban had to know that there were going to be riots and looting taking place on a specific day, and they planned to have that container conveniently there to be looted of its contents to provide the ammunition for the coming coup d'etat/revolution. You might be asking what good a heap of ammunition is without the weapons to fire them. My friends, every police member, traffic official, and municipal police member carries a 9mm pistol on his or her side. Every soldier in the SANDF and many police are issued with either an R4 or R5 assault rifle. These rifles are chambered in 5.56. The contents of the container was primarily 9mm and 5.56 ammunition. It is common knowledge that many members of all these forces are supporters of Jacob Zuma and the Zuma faction within the ANC. There is also conflicting reports coming from officials regarding evidence of a planned insurrection to attempt to overthrow the government. We have one government official saying that there is clear evidence of a planned insurrection, and then we have another saying that there is absolutely no evidence of insurrection. We know that there have been radio disc jockeys from a few stations arrested for telling people to go out and loot the shopping centres. We saw on television how Bheki Cele was doing the rounds in the areas most affected by the looting, how he miraculously came up with a cardboard box containing what he said was some ammunition recovered from looters that had come out of the looted ammunition container. Someone is lying to us here, for sure. So here is my conclusion after taking a look at all the evidence and connecting the dots. You are free to make up your own mind on whether I am right or not. I certainly hope that I am wrong, but here is how I see it. We know from experience that no government official can be trusted to even tell us that the sky is blue without confirming it ourselves first. All that ammunition is now somewhere out there, and we can be sure it is definitely in the wrong hands. There are just too many coincidences and inconsistencies in the stories we are being fed. I think that we could see an attempt to overthrow the government take place any day now. If it happens, this country is going to be turned into a war zone overnight, and most of our so-called security forces are going to be a part of it. Are you ready for that? As you know, or should know by now, everything that has ever gone wrong in this country has been the fault of the whites. Literally everything. Who do you think is going to be targeted in the chaos that ensues while a coup d'etat is taking place? You guessed it, us, the white minority. We will instantly become the targets of opportunistic criminals as well as many so-called law enforcers. We all saw how quickly KZN turned into an absolute wasteland. How many people living in KZN were prepared for that? How many people all over the country are ready to wake up to a war taking place in the streets tomorrow if it happened? It could happen tomorrow, or the day after, or next week, or next month. Are you prepared? In my opinion, civil war, or at the very least, total chaos is going to happen here, sooner than later. Can you imagine the entire country becoming like KZN overnight? The police and the military will have zero chance of containing it. They would more likely be a part of it. I'm advising everyone to prepare to the best of their abilities for what could possibly come very soon. If a coup d'etat was attempted tomorrow, I assure you that besides the army and the police literally fighting each other, the streets in your suburbs are going to become an absolute nightmare of crime and chaos. Remember that as soon as the police are involved in either combating or taking part in an attempted coup, all law enforcement stops immediately and we will be left to look after ourselves. For those who, up to now, have not bothered to prep in any way, I urge you to go out now and buy non-perishable foods sufficient to last you roughly 3 months. If you survive the chaos, you are going to be confined to your home for an extended period of time with no electricity or running water, so you had better be able to feed yourself. Make sure that you have enough water stored, at least that you will not die of thirst. 5 liters per person per day is a good number. Make sure that you have a gas stove to cook on and enough gas to last at least 3 months. Remember, in the event of a coup d'etat or any attempt at one, the first thing to go will be communications. That means the cell towers will be one of the first things to be targeted. Make sure that you have alternative means of communication. I personally have a handheld dual-band radio with both a little rubber duck antenna as well as an antenna mounted to a telescopic pole that I can use to raise up into the air for better reception. Every day I take part in a communications check to make sure that all systems are functioning correctly. The day I am forced to leave my home, I will be able to communicate with other members of my civil defense organization and coordinate things. If you have not done so already, put together an emergency crate or crates that can be packed with the bare essentials such as dry foods, gas, water, clothing and valuables. This has to be pre-packed with most of the stuff, but things like clothing and valuables need to be able to be packed in a matter of an hour or less. Obviously, this crate or crates has to be able to fit into your vehicle. So the smaller your vehicle, the more choosy you will have to be with what you take with you, should you have to evacuate your home for any reason. For valuables that might take up too much room or serve no purpose to your own survival, I would suggest burying them in a strategic place in a container that will preserve its contents for an extended period of time. These measures might seem extreme, but if you had had the opportunity to ask anyone who had fled places like Angola, Zimbabwe, the Congo, etc., I'm sure that they would have given you similar advice. The days of denying that a total chaos scenario could happen in this country are or should by now be a thing of the past for everyone. In my opinion, anyone who still believes that something like this could not happen is a lost cause now. There is no hope for them. I'm not going to try and convince anyone anymore. If they can't see the writing on the wall by now, they never will. So to sum up, make sure that you have made provision for the chaos that goes with a coup d'etat, because in my humble opinion, it is on our doorstep. Remember to like and share this on as many social media platforms as possible. It's the only way that my message gets out there. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I have to ask why not? You have nothing to lose. If you'd like to make a contribution to my channel, in the description field I have provided ways in which local as well as international subscribers or listeners can make a contribution. If you'd like to make a crypto contribution, also in the description field I provided a Bitcoin as well as an Ethereum wallet address. If you would like to contribute any other crypto, simply shoot me an email to the address also provided in the description field, and I will supply you with the relevant wallet addresses. I also have a Zapper account, so if you would like to make a contribution via Zapper, simply pause the video whenever you see the Zapper code and scan it. Any and all contributions will be very welcome and very much appreciated. To all the amazing people who do contribute, I say a huge thank you. Your contributions are very much appreciated. Until next time, be safe out there.